This is when I act like I haven't been sitting here on the floor for about 2 hours already. I've just been getting stuck all over the place today. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. Can I just say that the support that you guys have given the channel, obviously me, the channel has been amazing. The growth of the channel the last month has been explosive, and it's exciting in a lot of ways, and I feel really supported, so thank you. Today I want to make a video about the highs and lows that I went through right after everything happened. I've had like an up and down day, so it feels like a great opportunity to make this up and down video that I'm sure is going to be a little bit emotional because I'm going to go right back into that. But that's something that I want to do now while it's still very fresh, and I think it's really important to talk about. I was actually talking to someone on Instagram today. I've loved talking to you guys, by the way. And she was telling me about her situation, which was a little bit similar, just finding out that your partner has been lying to you for a long time, and how she felt a little bit embarrassed about that. And oh my God, like the emotions that you feel when somebody tells you that they felt embarrassed that their partner was this person, made all of these terrible choices. Like, the first thing I said to her was, hey, here's this really shitty thing that happened to me after this all went down, you know, like, this was super embarrassing for me. It's totally normal to have those moments. It's totally normal to freak out, to feel however you're feeling, and I just want to validate everyone's experience because I felt in that moment, I felt really confident and really thankful that I didn't feel embarrassed. I felt everything I was feeling was justified. I felt like I did everything right. I felt like this should not have happened to me, and I still believe all of those things to be true, and I'm really grateful for that. But I wouldn't want anyone to feel like as a victim in the situation, as someone who this has been done to. We should not be feeling embarrassed. We should not be feeling bad about our reactions and our emotions. And like maybe the fact that we didn't know that our partner was lying to us for so long, or we didn't suspect anything, that's not on us. So I wanted to make this video tonight, specifically after talking to her. So shouts to everyone who's going through it. Highs and lows, I'm going to do like an every other, I think, to keep things up and down. Alright, let's start with the lows. The obvious low. Sarah told me everything. She told me that she had lied to me when we were traveling down to our wedding in the van. The dogs had woken us up. It was 4 in the morning. She couldn't go back to sleep. I asked her if she wanted to tell me anything, and she told me that she was afraid to tell me, and I said that she could, and she told me that she had lied and that she had cheated, and that was the lowest low of my life. That was like the pit that opens up. The floor underneath you is gone. Yeah, that like hour, because it took a long time for her to get everything out that she wanted to say, that was my lowest low. A high, which is still sad because it's still in that moment. I'm going to try and go in chronological order. A high from after the breakup was after she told me all of those things. I said I need to take a walk. I need to figure that out in my head, and I walked myself out. We were in a Lowe's parking lot at 4 in the morning. It was dark in Tennessee, and I called people And if you know me in real life, you know that that is not my game. I do not need other people, and I don't reach out, and I don't like to ask. And it was 4 a.m, and I called people. I called some of my chosen family in Boston, and she answered right away at 4 a.m. She had obviously been sleeping, and she just let me sob. And I was so thankful. I was so thankful. Because I needed somebody. And she said, "Do you want to come to Boston?" I said, "Yeah, I do. Yeah, I need to come to Boston." And oh my God, just the love. Yeah, I'm so grateful. So grateful for the people in my life. To piggyback on that, Casey also answered a little bit later when I had a normal hour, and my brother also answered. And my friend Amy I talked to a little bit later that day, and all of that was just so wonderful. And everybody just let me talk and let me say everything and sympathized and was there for me and didn't judge me when I was saying things like, I want to fix it, I don't want this to be happening. And everybody was exactly what I needed, and there's nothing better, there's nothing more important than that. So thank you all for that. I don't know what I would have done otherwise. Okay. See, look, I'm gonna get upset about the good things because I'm just so grateful. Just so grateful. Okay. Another low. After Sarah told me, and after I processed it, the sun came up, and I was going to Boston. So it was like 2 hours away to the closest airport, and we drove to Boston, or we drove to the airport so I could fly to Boston, and had to stop a lot of times so I could get out and throw up. And that was hard for me because I don't like to show weakness, and I felt so vulnerable. But yeah, we had to stop several times for me to get out and throw up. I got to Boston, and that was the best choice I could have made, and I'm so grateful. My family there likes to keep their lives really private, so I won't share names or anything, but they were so gracious to me, and exactly what I needed, and more than I knew that I needed. That night I got in, and I was just shell-shocked, obviously, from that whole day, and they were trying to take care of me, and I loved them for it. And she asked me, I think, if I wanted some tea, what kind of tea they had, and I said that tea actually sounded good. I wasn't hungry, I felt really sick, but tea sounded okay. And he went and he said, I have a certain kind of tea. I need to slow this down because this moment in my life will forever stand out, I think, as the time that I felt the most seen by anyone. And I definitely didn't express this at the time, but he brought back this box of tea, and he said that he's a professor, that his students are like his children, and he values them and their relationship. And his father had passed away quite recently, and when his father passed, one of his students gave him this box of tea from China, where he was from, and he said the student said that he wanted to get him a gift, but he didn't know what to get him. So he asked his own father what you get for somebody when they've lost someone that they love. And the student's father said that he would get them this tea because it brings comfort, and it's what you get for someone when they lose someone. And my family member in Boston held this tea box and looked at me, and he told me that it was so valuable to him because of that story, and like how much it meant to his student and how much it meant for him with his relationship with his father. And he hadn't even tried it yet, but that he would really like to have some tea with me because I had lost someone that I loved. And I don't think I had even, like, emotionally, mentally, I didn't know where I was, I didn't know what I was feeling, but he said that, and I just felt so seen and so treasured and loved and protected, and it was so beautiful, and I'm, like, so grateful for them. I'm so blessed to have met them. Gosh, I am a mess. Give me 1 second. Well, this is more than anyone expected. It's definitely me. Yeah, that's like a standout moment in my life for sure. A low after the breakup was when I was getting on the plane to go to Boston then. Well, one, absolutely the fastest way to get through security is just to be a freaking mess, because I was just sobbing, bawling, and dropping things and like all over the place. It's the fastest I've ever gotten through airport security. But I was such a mess that I told the person I was sitting next to on the plane, I was like, I don't mean to scare you. I am fine. I do not have COVID. But I am going to be upset on this plane ride, and I just wanted you to know so you don't wonder why I'm bawling my eyes out. My fiance just left me. We were going to our wedding. And it was like a surreal moment. Obviously, that plane ride in general was a huge low because I was trapped in one spot and I couldn't move, and moving was like the only thing that was keeping me going. But I told her that, and it was one of those moments when you're queer and you just feel so invisible, and it didn't matter because the situation was bigger than that, but she just said something like, that's terrible, how could he, how dare he, how could he leave somebody as beautiful as you, what a shame, how long were you and him together, just so many hymns. And I was already such like a mess. I was just like, whatever. Doesn't even matter anymore. it just really added to it. It just added to it on a different level. Yeah. Another high, and this was just so wonderful. While I was in Boston, I walked. I walked once, and I realized that it pulled me out of the shock and the grief and all of my feelings, and I could breathe while I was walking. And so I was walking. I was walking before breakfast, after breakfast, like afternoons. I would walk all afternoon and all night. And I was walking like 15 miles a day. And I felt amazing while I was walking and for like a little while after, so it was a huge encouragement to me. And while I would walk, especially at night, I had my friends Amy and Casey that I would call and love them. They would talk to me for an hour or two, like at a time, which is just like, again, like the fact that anybody could give me so much of their time. They just validated me and heard me and talked things through with me and challenged me in everything that I needed, and they were both so wonderful. So I feel really blessed to have them and to have had that experience as well, and to have them both like checking in, sending me affirmations, and making sure that I'm drinking water, that kind of thing. Man, it's like this all just happened a month ago. What? Oh my god. Okay. Another low was that, and this was just like a consequence of the situation, I didn't eat for a week. I didn't sleep hardly for a week, maybe like an hour or two at a time. Yeah. I couldn't do it. I tried to eat a couple of bites sometimes, and I would just throw up. It was like a physical response. My body was in shock, and I couldn't handle anything. And that's not me. I love to eat. And I love to sleep. And not sleeping is painful, like physically painful. So, those were hard times. High was calling my doctor and hearing him say that I definitely was suffering from depression and that I would really benefit from medication. They like read you some questions and you have to answer, like, are you eating, are you sleeping, are you, like, things like that. And I can't really remember all of them, but as he read them off to me, I remember feeling so seen, so I didn't realize that some of the effects of what was happening to me were part of depression at the time. Like, I was so blinded to how I was feeling that as he was asking me these things, it was a really high moment for me to think that I could take back some control, fix the chemical imbalances that were happening in my brain with medication, and use that tool. And just hearing them say that was so wonderful to know, like, I can do something here. There's something I can do for myself. A low happened right after that. I was walking around near Boston, and again, that week I was like a public mess. No shame, no care in the world what people thought about me. And I was just standing by a bookstore talking to my doctor about getting this medication, and just as I had like hung up, or like it was about to end, like 10 feet away, an old woman fell down a small flight of stairs. It was so scary. She fell and she like hit her head, and I rushed over, and I was so kind and so present and so like, oh my God, like, I am so sorry, are you okay? Can I call anyone? What do you need? Like, stay still, like, can I do anything for you? In my state of like mascara down my face, and just, I wasn't wearing mascara, but like haven't washed my hair in a week type of thing. And she was so mean to me. And it sounds so weird to say, like, this is a weird one. This is probably the weirdest thing that happened to me during that time. She was so mean to me. She said, from the ground, "It looked like you were in your own space over there, and I didn't want to disturb you, but you were blocking the ramp." And I tried to like help her up, and she like said no, and then she was just grumpy towards me and like brushed me off and then went inside. And it was so weird. Anyway, that happened. That was a strange thing. And then I felt like I needed a t-shirt that said, "I'm going through something. Can you be nice to me?" It was really weird. She was fine. It was so weird. The audiobook, what is it called? You Will Get Through This Night by Daniel Howe. The best thing that I could have heard, listened to, had it on repeat for days, just techniques for how to ground myself in the present moment, to take myself out of this cloud of thoughts and like be a physical person. Breathing exercises, just really, really well written book for those moments where you feel like you can't breathe, for those moments that you feel like you don't know how to handle yourself, or like that you're not okay. It was an excellent resource, a total high. I'm so glad that I stumbled onto it, and I even bought a copy for Sarah and sent it to the house while she was staying here. And she also enjoyed it. Highly recommend that book for anyone going through a hard time. You Will Get Through This Night by Daniel Howe. And the audiobook is really good. He reads it. Low. This is maybe my next lowest low. And this is the one that I shared earlier today with that woman on Instagram, and this is the one that I wanted to share publicly, especially because maybe it could be seen as embarrassing or shameful. After my time in Boston, there was a time where I decided I needed to come back here to the house to do logistical things with Sarah and spend those few days together with her. So this low, again, happened at the airport. I'm going to be a little bit triggered with airports now. I got to the airport in plenty of time, and there was a huge line at security. Nobody was trying to make things go quickly. And it took me a long time to get through security, and when I finally got to the part where they check your stuff, they held my bag. They held 20 people's bags actually, and mine was the last one. And then when they finally went through it, I was asking them can you please hurry? I'm going to miss my flight, and that would be the worst case scenario for me right now if I miss my flight right now. I'm going through something. Be nice to me. And it was I didn't take out the Nintendo Switch that I had in there, which apparently I had to take out. So he was I have to put the whole thing back through. So I had to go to the back of that front part of the line and put it back through again after he put it all back together. The whole process took an extra 45 minutes. By the time I finally got my bag, of course, I had to run to the farthest gate, and I did. I ran, crying, as one does when one is in this situation, with this huge bag. And I got to the gate and they closed it right in front of me, and I begged the woman to let me on that plane. It was like, the plane hadn't taken off, they had just closed boarding by like 1 minute. And she was very cold, as one would expect in her situation. She did everything right, but I had a full-on panic attack. I fell on the floor. I started yelling. There were people everywhere, kids everywhere. Some of the staff had to come attend to me. It was not a pretty situation. And it happened to me. And then to like add to that, to go even lower, because I missed the flight, I had to tell Sarah. I had to tell her that I missed it. And as the one who's always a little bit late to everything, it was so painful to have to say, I missed that flight. I'm gonna need a new ticket. And just like that feeling of not being able to do things on my own already, and being vulnerable already, when that's the last thing that you want to do with a person who doesn't need you anymore. So then I had to sit in the airport for another few hours. But I just listened to that audiobook and got a Starbucks drink. But yeah. That happened. And even though it was really terrible, and I wouldn't wish that for anybody, I'm not embarrassed about it. I'm not ashamed of that. And I just don't want anybody to feel like they need to be embarrassed about their like guttural response to trauma, if that makes sense. Life is hard. Like, I didn't deserve what happened to me. And like, no matter what your response is to things, like if you throw up on your person, or if like, I don't know, you need medication, you're like ashamed that you didn't see this coming, like none of that is, we didn't deserve these things, you know, like we're all doing the best that we can. You're not alone. That's mostly what I'm trying to say. Another high is that day before I got on the plane, I went to the salon to get my hair done, obviously, because I needed to feel super confident, and that's how I was going to do that. I was going to get my hair done because I don't really know how to do it myself. And I went into this salon in Boston. I had never been there, and I was the only one there because I went really early, and it was just the stylist and the person at the desk. And they were like, "What are you here for? Like, what can we do for you?" And I like came out. I was like, I have to tell you because it's really important that we get this right. I need to look real good so I feel really good, and so I don't like lose my mind. And strangely, and this was the first experience that I've had with this, I heard a lot more like once you guys shared all of your experiences, but my stylist had also just been engaged and been cheated on. And so she shared her story with me and validated everything that I was feeling and told me I deserved better and like all the right things, you know, like we played FU music at the salon and she gave me like a hair mask for free and she made me look really good and feel really confident and like sent me off into the world like, you got this, like go get it, you know, like go do you, you're important. And it was just such a random thing to have happened, especially because I felt like I was the only one who had experienced this before. And I was really thankful. It felt really good to know that I would be okay. So that was a high. A low. When I got back back to the house after Boston, there came a time where I felt like I needed to come back to see her to like handle some logistical things. Like it was being drawn out too much. I needed to just like do the things. And so I came back, and that night we had couples counseling. We had 3 couples counseling sessions, and this one, we've had couples counseling in the past, and it's so annoying because I'm like a huge fan of therapy, but Sarah was always so articulate and convincing, I think is the word I want to use in therapy. So annoying. Like I always felt a little bit crazy, which is hilarious. Because I know what I think and I know what I say and I make these videos and I like, it all comes so easily to me, I think, when it's just me here talking to you. But I don't know, she had like some kind of magic about her. Anyway, that therapy session, basically the therapist asked us what our goals were, and our goals were very different. Mine was reconciliation and figuring out how this happened, and Sarah's were to move forward with like what comes next and boundaries. And basically our therapist was just like, well, we're gonna just do what Sarah wants to do because that seems like what we're gonna do. So I was just kind of like stuck in there, and it wasn't awesome for me. Yeah. But we only did 3 of those. So, and by the last one, I was like deadpan, like spoke when spoken to. The most disagreeable, actually, I think I've ever been in my life. But I was proud of that because it was on the day we were supposed to get married, and Sarah was like, yeah, thank you so much for asking. I'm doing great. How are you? Yeah. Okay, I'm getting mean now. I was like, just want to clarify again that cheating isn't brave. But that was a low for me for sure, having to endure those sessions. Highs, so much so, the comments and emails that you all sent me after I posted the breakup video. When you go through something like this, at least for me, I felt like this had never happened to anyone else. I felt like this was a unique situation. I was by myself. I had to figure it out for myself. I didn't know if I would be okay. I posted that video for my own healing and was floored with the support and just the shared experiences. Like, what a thing. Like, I'm so sorry that we've all gone through something like this, but like, what a shared experience that we can all talk about it and be there for each other. And like, I feel like those comments and all of your love and support really has pushed me into this new chapter. Like, I feel healthier and stronger and more confident because of all of that, all of your love, and I'm really thankful to everyone who has reached out and continues to reach out. Thank you so much for that. It's really, really wonderful it's a really wonderful gift to give someone, to say, like, I see where you're at and it's going to be okay. Thank you for that. We're getting to the end of them. My last low is when we were here spending those last couple of days together. That was really hard in general. Like, it's what I wanted to do, and I'm really glad that I did that and that I had the control, and like, that was my choice, and in a lot of ways it was really, really good for me, but it also was a lot of work, and she wasn't always kind, and I wasn't always composed. I had a breakdown at least once a day, but she definitely wasn't kind a lot of the times. And I remember a couple of things she said that were just really hurtful. But the standout one is the night before she left, we were standing in the kitchen, like one does, and she told me how she was really excited to come back here one day and see me happy with someone else. Like, see me happy living my life. And like my kids. Like, I think she even mentioned kids. It was so hurtful. We were supposed to get married in like 3 days. And I know that's not okay, and I want to say that, like, it's not okay for anyone to say that, and I probably will make a whole video about things I would like to say to her, or things that I never want to hear her say to me, because she's just so clueless, I think, about, like, what she was saying, like, what that meant. Like, I only wanted to spend my life with her, and here she is telling me that she's excited, and she's so genuine, excited to see me happy with somebody else, and like what that will look like for me. It's like a light, that's what I keep saying, like a switch just flipped for her, and it was over. It was so hurtful. But then that next week, my last high is that I got a card from her family, and it was so generous. It was so loving, just thanking me for being a part of their lives and for everything that I've added to their family, and calling me family, saying that I'm like a daughter to them and that they only want the best for me, to say if I needed anything, like, they were here for me. And oh, I just bawled when I got that. I just bawled my eyes out, because they are my family. They became my family over the years. I was so excited for her parents to be my kids' grandparents. Mildred, if you're watching this, I'll still have your grandbabies. Yeah. It was really wonderful. Really sad, but like, again, just such a blessing, all the people that I have in my life. I think that's the main high. That's the moral of the whole thing. I have a lot of great people in my life, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. I hope this has been an okay video. But I've been sitting on those things for a while, and so I'm glad that I had the opportunity to talk about them. I've been thinking about them, and I'm ready to let them go. And I hope that this video has been relatable or comforting or normalizing this experience for someone else. Yeah. If I've learned anything, it's just that this is a very normal experience. And I hate that for us. But also, I think it's important to talk about it. Because we feel so much less alone when we talk about it. And clearly we're not alone. Thank you all again for supporting me on this journey, for being here with me. Every day is a new day, and when I think I'm going to be high for a while, days like today come around and remind me that this just happened last month. I didn't talk about it, but our transfer day was supposed to be now. I was supposed to hopefully be pregnant the last day or two. So it's all still very real. It's all still very real. And I know that. And I'm just continuously thankful for all of your support and your love. I hope you all have a great Wednesday. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here for me in the highs and the lows. I'll talk to you soon.